Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samantha Halal, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about some 3 common myths that are associated with gifted students. Okay, so 3 common misconceptions and how those misconceptions have formed a part of our understanding of gifted students. And I'm going to give you some facts and the truths behind each of those myths. Okay, so the quote I'm going to be focusing on in my presentation is by George Orwell, and that's myths that are believed tend to become true. All right, and that's, a lot of the myths in gifted education have arisen because they're things that have originated from centuries back, and they've become ingrained in our minds towards gifted students. So I'm going to address 3 of the most common myths today. All right, and they are that, first of all, gifted students do not require any help in the classroom. The second myth is that gifted students achieve well at everything they do. And the third one is that gifted students are a homogeneous group. So they are all the same with the same kinds of needs and so on. All right, so all 3 of them are myths, and I'm going to explain each one in more detail. Okay? So, myth number 1, gifted students do not require any help. So this is a common assumption that many teachers make in the classroom. They believe that if you have a gifted child, that they already know all the answers to all their questions. They appear confident with their work and with what they do, but that's actually not the case. So the common assumption is that gifted students do not require assistance because they are already clever and know how to do the work, and they will succeed regardless of what they are given at school. So in reality, gifted students do have special needs, okay? And, the extraordinary level of potential that they have and the ability that they have can go to waste if it's not fostered properly. And you find that there are many gifted students who underachieve in class and don't achieve their potential because their needs are not met. All right, gifted students need to feel that they're being challenged in the classroom, and a lot of them, if they're not challenged, then they tend to underachieve, and in fact, they tend to achieve lower than their colleagues in the classroom and their peers. Okay, so that's why they need a special education program. And one study performed by Renzulli found that 18 to 25% of gifted students dropped out of school. And that's because their needs were not met in one way or another, okay? And as I said earlier, gifted students require teachers who challenge them. So they need tasks where they don't find, usually a gifted student will zone out of the classroom if they find the work too easy. And if they're not challenged, then it's going to be a problem, and they will just tune out completely and not perform at school. Okay? And that also involves differentiation in the classroom. All right, the second myth is that gifted students achieve well at everything. Okay, so as you can see in the photo, there's a common stereotype that gifted children perform exceptionally well at everything they do. Some of them, they tend to be all-rounders and so on. But again, it's also a myth because many gifted students underachieve, as I explained in my previous slide as well. So reasons they underachieve is because of lack of motivation. All right, so they don't have motivation, lack of resources. So this could be financially, in places where there's a low socioeconomic background. If their parents can't afford to send them to, say, for example, ballet lessons, if they can't send their child to ballet lessons or whatever they're interested in, then obviously they're not being invested to foster their gifts and to convert them into talents. Okay, and then there are also social pressures. So many gifted students, they try to fit in with their peers. So they underachieve in class, they decide not to perform, not to do their work because they want to impress or they want to try and fit in with the rest of their classmates and so on. Or to be able to have a social relationship and feel that they can fit in with everybody else. All right? So that's why they tend to dumb down. All right, and then the third myth is that gifted students are a homogeneous group. So they're thought to be, like just a single group of students who perform well at everything. And again, that's not the case because we have different types. They're actually a diverse group, very diverse group of students. So we've got, an example is we've got the twice exceptional students. And this group of students tend to have a gift, but at the same time, they also have a learning disability. Okay, so one example of that is, say, for example, we have a child who's gifted, has a gift in one area, but then at the same time they could have, for example, autism or something like that. Okay, so those students, sometimes the learning disability tends to mask their gift, and so they either tend to be seen as average students or below average than what their ability really is. Okay, and so they have special needs that need to be met. You've got the gifted underachievers who've got needs that also need to be met. So we need to be able to motivate the underachievers so that they can perform well at school. And then you've also got 3 different types of giftedness. So you've got the children who are mildly gifted, you've got the moderately gifted, and then the profound level. So that's determined based on their IQ level. So mildly gifted students obviously would tend to fit in more socially with their peers than, say, someone who's profound, because a child who's profoundly gifted would have such a high level of intelligence that they tend not to fit in socially with their peers. Right? They would have certain social and emotional issues that they need to be addressed as well. Okay? So fact number 3, so that's addressing myth number 3. So, that's the second part of my previous slide. So programs therefore need to be matched individually and catered to the needs of those gifted students, so each group. So, it tends to be an individual thing, and that's why, according to Dr. Douglas Green, he's mentioned this lovely quote, so if gifted lessons are so good, then why can't all students participate? So, if we have a lesson that's gifted, that's being coined a general term, then it's obviously not addressing the needs of each of those individual students who have diverse needs. Okay? So where does this all lead to? So every school needs to have a gifted program. Okay? So for our school, outside of college, we don't really have a gifted program or a gifted policy in place, nor do we have a committee that's dedicated to gifted students. So I think that's something that is important that we move forward to. We do have a learning support committee here, and I think it's also important to invest in our gifted students as well, because they are present, especially the underachievers. Okay, and we need to also be able to invest in resources to identify the students and cater to their needs. And what sort of things can we do to move forward with that? Things like acceleration, curriculum compacting. So are you aware of curriculum compacting at all?
No, I'm not.
No? So it tends to involve, for example, you have a curriculum, okay? So let's say we have a Year 7 program that we want to move forward in, and let's say we test a gifted student and we find that they have knowledge in certain areas of that curriculum. So in those areas where the student has a strength in, we tend to condense or minimize, lessen the time that's spent on that, and then we spend more time addressing and moving forward in the curriculum and speeding through it. Okay, so that's referred to as curriculum compacting. Also extension, just sort of giving them, that's involved in differentiation. We kind of do differentiation in our classes. We give them, for example, research tasks, extension tasks that they would, that can challenge them and help them use their higher order thinking skills more. So for example, giving them like a research project or having to make like a PowerPoint presentation on a certain topic that they're interested in, or to create something. And also enrichment. So we do have some sort of enrichment programs at our school. We have the STEM Club. Okay, so Jenny is running the STEM Club. We also have, I think some teachers are, starting this year, they're starting to be involved in some extracurricular activities.
I believe they're starting an Italian club and a netball club for primary upstairs.
Yeah, so there's an Italian club and a netball club. Yeah, so we are sort of moving in that direction, but I think if we have, say, a more try to sort of maybe within the next year or two try and aim towards establishing a gifted program and a gifted committee, then that would be excellent. But yeah, see, this little picture here I find very interesting. So it's showing you the needs of the gifted students. So teach me, engage me, challenge me, and believe in me. So most importantly is challenge me, because that's what gifted students need. Are there any questions? Any of that?
Not at the moment. I'm sure I'll have plenty later.
All right. And that's if you want to do any further reading. All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That was good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.